if anyone is still arguing that the madman Netanyahu is somehow fighting a righteous, holy, godly fight, understand this. Their own military has said, yeah, so we're killing about 83% civilian. Put it up, full mass. We got to talk about this because they're playing in your face now. Israeli military's own data, their own data, not from any other third-party source trying to peep into the through the iron curtain, okay, through the iron wall they have. Their own military indicates a civilian death rate of 83% in the Gaza war. So the Guardian reports figures from classified IDF database listed 8,900 fighters as dead, probably dead in May, as overall death toll has now reached 53,000. I still think that number is wholly underreported. Figures from a classified Israeli military, this is an intelligence database, indicate 5 out of 6 Palestinians killed by Israeli forces in Gaza have been civilians. An extreme rate of slaughter, rarely matched in any decades of warfare. As of May, 19 months into the war, which is a slaughter. Israeli intelligence officials listed 8,900 named fighters from Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad as dead or, quote, probably dead. A joint investigation by The Guardian, the Israeli-Palestinian publication, plus 972 magazine, and the Hebrew language outlet Local Call has found. At the time, 53,000 Palestinians had been killed by the Israeli attacks. That's according to health authorities in Gaza. A toll that included combatants and civilians. Fighters named in the Israeli military intelligence database accounted for just 17% of the total, which indicates that 83% of the dead were civilians. Among those civilians are babies, toddlers, pregnant women, elderly people, children. Average age, Gaza for a Palestinian, 19.1 years of age. Early on, the argument was made by Netanyahu and those that supported this extreme evil. Well, it's because terrorists are hiding behind the civilians, and they just happen to be Palestinians. That was the argument. Some people fell for it. And that was the pretext to create the context in order to kill civilians and rank that killing as basically friendly fire. We weren't trying to get to them. We were trying to get to the people that were behind them, that they were hiding them up. Do you believe if Hamas was hiding in Israel that Netanyahu would indiscriminately kill Israeli citizens in order to get to Hamas? No. Why? That's right. Because he has more value for their life than he does for a 1-year-old infant in Gaza who happens to be Palestinian. That's why. That ratio of civilians to combatants among the dead is extremely high for modern wars in particular. So the graphic produced by Guardian Research includes a comparison with conflicts notorious for high civilian death rates. You see it there. Protesters in Israel have gathered to form a nationwide strike, demanding a ceasefire and release of hostages from Gaza. Here it is.
From the numbers of people we have seen on the streets and in the surrounding area, from the crowds we have tried to get through with some success because the streets are packed so densely, I think it's safe to say this is easily one of the largest, if not the largest protest we've seen against the war since it started nearly 2 years ago. And it came together only in the last week. Organizers from both hostage families as well as bereaved families from October 7th called for a grassroots nationwide strike today, and it has taken place throughout the entire day. There are hundreds, if not thousands, just around me right here, and the closer you get to Hostages Square, which is still a few hundred meters behind us, the more packed it gets. You may even be able to hear the noise from the chanting, the drums, the cheers, the chants from Hostages Square itself. And that gives you just a sense of how many people are here.
We've been reporting on the fact that Israeli citizens have been protesting actively and out loud against the madman Netanyahu. I don't want anyone to confuse the military war machine known as the Israeli military. It's the same as an Israeli citizen, no more than I would want anyone to assume that the American war machine is the same as Rashad Richey, because it's not. They have been protesting. As a matter of fact, soldiers and former soldiers signed a letter saying basically the man is out of control. Protesters, the day of stoppage, which blocked roads, it closed businesses, marked an escalation in the population's growing frustration after 22-month war. Police responding to Sunday's demonstrations blasted crowds with water cannons, made dozens of arrests. In one instance, officers stopped several protesters from trying to break into the central Ayalon highway in Tel Aviv, leading to a confrontation between them, during which a protester was forcibly arrested, CBS News learned. Police also confiscated the protesters' equipment. Protesters who fear further fighting could endanger the 50 hostages believed to remain in Gaza, only about 20 of whom are thought to be alive, chanted, quote, "We don't win a war over the bodies of hostages," end quote. Protesters gathered at dozens of points throughout Israel, including outside politicians' homes, military headquarters, and on major highways, where they were sprayed with water cannons as they blocked lanes and lit bonfires that cloaked roads in smoke. Some restaurants and theaters were closed in solidarity to the protest and the standing against Netanyahu. Police said they had arrested 32 as a part of the nationwide demonstration, one of the fiercest since the uproar over 6 hostages found dead in Gaza last September. So Israel is weighing a Hamas offer, 60-day Gaza truce and hostage release, according to the information. So the proposals include the release of 200 Palestinian convicts jailed in Israel and an unspecified number of imprisoned women and minors in return for 10 living and 18 deceased hostages from Gaza, according to the Hamas official. 2 Egyptian security forces confirmed those details and added that Hamas has requested the release of hundreds of Gaza detainees as well. Israel says a total of 50 hostages remain in Gaza, 20 of them still alive. Quote, Israel's policy is consistent and has not changed. Israel demands the release of all 50 hostages in accordance with the principles established by the cabinet for ending the war. We are in the final decisive stage of Hamas, and we're not leaving a hostage behind. And an Israeli political source said, "We know this playbook. In America, we call it weapons of mass destruction. We got to find them, y'all. They're out there. But we will kill to get them. Saddam has them. Yes." Everybody jumps on the bandwagon. Kill. War. It's not even required. But they make you feel as if you don't have it, and if you don't agree with it, somehow you're going to lose. Lose what? Lose what? That's the narrative. It's a feeling narrative. It's indoctrination. You become immune to self-analyze your own belief system. So here we are. Damn near everybody they're killing is a civilian. We said that day one. Individuals who spoke out as elected officials and called it for what it is, well, Democrats got those Democrats out of office. And now, today, Benjamin Netanyahu has a criminal arrest warrant from the International Criminal Court. And just a few days ago, Trump called both him and Netanyahu war heroes. Once again, does this still feel like a democracy to you? All right, dear brother, thoughts?
I mean, it's just the level, the scope of how horrific this entire situation is. I honestly think is unfathomable, not just for me, but for like the vast majority of this country. And so I think a lot of folks will just sort of turn a blind eye because it is overwhelming to really contemplate how bad this situation is and how bad it has been from the beginning. And the people, as you've said, that have been calling this out, who have been sidelined or kicked out of office or arrested for protesting what's going on, is just, it's insane to me. I mean, you're talking about, I believe, from what I understand, the highest amount of children amputees in modern history.
That's right.
And it seems to me that people right now are waking up to the fact that this is a narrative that has been pushed. And I think you're always in some kind of a narrative, right? You're always in some kind of a story. And this story that they have been telling is breaking down. And I think that they're in some way, I mean, maybe this is me hoping for this more so than anything, but it seems to me, or at least I hope this is happening, that people are waking up to what's going on and recognizing that the propaganda that has been coming out of Israel for so long is just falling apart. And so their only, recourse is basically to panic and to arrest as many people as possible. And when all the protesters start getting arrested, that's usually a good sign that they're protesting something very valid. And hopefully people continue to keep waking up.
That's right. And you don't have enough jails to house them all. You don't have enough water to hose them all. And that's the reality of genuine protest inside of a nation.